Welcome to another section for the Learn Azure by Moonlight. This is the day 12 of our training, of our section, and we'll be talking about the introduction to Azure DevOps. Going to be taken by CJ Okpala. CJ Okpala is a co-founder of Software 360, and he will be taking us through the introduction to the Azure DevOps. As our plan or as our clean desk policy, we advise people or we recommend that people should always mute their mics. And if we have any questions, we should post it in the chat box. The speaker will continually look at the chat box for questions and give the questions. The reason for this is to avoid interrupting its flow. Okay, so I will hand over to CJ to take it over from here. CJ,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Good evening, guys. Happy Easter. Today we'll be just talking about Azure DevOps. So I will take a high-level overview on Azure DevOps to look at the solutions and the technologies, as well as the kind of tools within Azure DevOps Microsoft offers. So in a changing environment, say we're in a software delivery, in a technological setup, we need to develop solution quick and fast. And also in a traditional organization, there's always like a line between the business guys, stakeholders, and the technical team. So what Azure DevOps in itself came about to solve this problem, because we would like to solve problem like time in to bring a new product or solution to the market, reduce errors, and also to deliver value to our clients. So I will take a high level overview about Azure DevOps. I'll talk a bit also about DevOps in general. And if we have time, we will have a lab, hands-on, we will do. If we cannot cover, I have my slide, it's like 34 pages. If we cannot cover it, then we will do the labs next week, Sunday, or this week. So let's proceed. So DevOps in itself is a practice, it's a way of working, which is born out of Agile methodology. So if you look at in the past, in a software delivery environment, so a software need to be delivered, say for instance, an e-commerce platform. Then the business guys, operator in this case, will say, okay, we go to a company, hey, we need you to develop a software, this ERP system for us. And when that is done, there's always no like a direct checkmating on this software, because, for instance, they are using a waterfall approach, which means that, okay, there's no iteration. Changes only occur when this developer or the company, the software developing company, delivers the software to this guy, to the company, and then and this guy accepts this through like a user acceptance test or what. But then if there are errors or changes with time, it's not captured. And the solution to that was Agile methodology. So it means that we always iterate, check or look at the software delivery, the solution, in terms of, say, looking at functional requirements and also non-functional requirements about the solution, about the software we gave a vendor to deliver for us. But then still, there's a problem there's a big line between the operator and also the company, the developer. So all of them have a different, do not have like an ecosystem where they can work together. And that's where DevOps came about. DevOps is like a way people collaborate. So the people need to work together with different objectives, but then with one goal. And the goal being that to deliver a software, a solution fast, a solution that works and to bring it to market. By so doing, cost is minimized. Failure of the software not working is drastically reduced. And that's where DevOps helps in enhancing the automation, integration, and collaboration and communication between software developers and IT operation to ensure the delivery of quality software at a fast pace. So at the end of the day, what is being delivered is value, not a physical product, not a physical software. And that's the objective of DevOps. So DevOps as a practice of way of methodology and DevOps as a tool come together to embrace, to bring a value to a company. So DevOps in itself embraces the people, platform, and the processes in an organization. So a quick wrap up on DevOps and all. So in the tool side of DevOps, there's a lot of tools and the ecosystem you could use to carry out DevOps. So looking at the chain of the life cycle of a DevOps process. And with all these tools, Microsoft have come about with Azure DevOps tool, which was previously VSTS, Visual Studio Team Services. And you could choose to use, for instance, for your source repository to use Git. You can also use Azure repos to do your source control. For monitoring, you can use Azure Monitor, or you can use other tools like Nagios or Splunk to do your monitor, or for instance, Azure Log Analytics. For the builds, you can use Marvin, or you can use Azure Pipeline for your builds. Why Azure DevOps? The reason is speed nowadays for businesses is very crucial. It's not an excuse anymore, because if you don't change or bring a solution to your client quickly, they lose market share. The competitors take the market. And that's why DevOps came about, to solve this problem. And using Azure DevOps, you can accomplish that, add value to your organization where you work, at the same time see your organization profit to deliver value to your end clients. And so doing is a win-win for all. It helps with faster time to market, a variety of infrastructure and tools, toolkits. Within Azure DevOps, we have the Azure boards where you create a project. So coming from a business point of view, business stakeholders, and then you have the repos. From the repos now, you move down to Azure pipelines where you build the code and do your development. And also then the next day you now do your testing. So Azure test plans. After the Azure test plans, you now have the Azure Activate for package management. So we'll go through this in depth here. As you know, for instance, if you know tools like a Jira or something like that, that's where teams come together, stakeholders, business guys, technical guys come together. So, okay, we want to develop a new solution, a new ERP system, or a new software to our end clients. And the project owner or the Scrum Master or the product owner goes on Azure boards and create this project. I will show you what Azure boards look like. So this is, I've logged into Azure DevOps. Having access with Azure DevOps, you can create a free subscription. And the next thing you have to do is to create an organization. Within Azure DevOps, everything goes to an organization. And then let's say I click here. Within an organization, there's a lot of projects you can create. And so this is Azure boards. Within Azure boards, we have like work item, backlog, sprints, and queries. So this is where you create things like, okay, an epic. An epic is at a high level of project objective to be achieved. Coming from a business point of view, from a high level point of view. And then this, in these boards, you now allocate, for instance, roles. If you look at settings in terms of teams to collaborate on a project, you can now look at, for instance, your dashboards. There are tools you can add here or use within Azure DevOps to do that. And within we now click on project settings to see the characteristics of a typical project. So in a project, you have to indicate a name, the description, what you need, and process means you can use a Scrum process or the Agile process. And also the visibility, you can have like a public process where you will now make leverage to the GitHub or GitLab, or make the project private. And then you have your the project owner. Within here, you can add teams. So for under teams, you can add people to be part of your project, and you can create teams. And permissions, role-based access control. So people need to be allocated and given their authentications and authorization, who does what, because security is very crucial, identity and stuff like that. And so let's go back to the slides again. We'll come back to this later. So the repos is like GitHub, where you can put your code in an environment where there are like a lot of the programmers. To have a single source of truth, in terms of a code, after a code review is done, that's why repos is very important, that you can follow and track versions of codes. Azure Repos offers you this solution, or you can use GitHub or BitLocker to do that. The Azure Pipelines is where you do your CI/CD, and you do your build there, and you can also do your automation as well. So by default, within Azure Pipelines, your build is done on YAML, but you can also do other alternative to do your builds using templates. And we have next the Azure test plan. So for any builds you did, you must test it, and which is crucial. So within Azure DevOps, you can do manual testing, or you can also do manual testing using Azure test plans, Azure test suites, and Azure test cases. Testing can also be done using coded UI testing. You can also choose Selenium testing for automated testing. Azure Artifacts is for package management. So where you share packages of files, codes, and then you now replicate it to different environments. So this is used a lot in the production environment. Next slide is the a visual of how DevOps works in Azure DevOps. So you have a developer, he made a change to a source code, and this the application code including the web config, for instance, is committed to the source code using Visual Studios. And then under Azure Repos, continuous integration is triggered, and a build and unit test using Azure test plans is done. And then continuous deployment within Azure pipelines triggers an automated deployment of application artifacts with environment-specific configuration values. So further, it pushes now to the Azure pipelines. And then the artifacts are deployed to Azure App Services. Then you now have to do the application insight management to know how this application is working, and which analyzes the health and the performance, the data usages of your application. You can also do this in form of looking at from the infrastructure point of view, or from a platform as a service point of view. So, for instance, say for instance, the network security group, what IP address and what protocols are having access to your application. And for instance, you can say, for instance, if you want to monitor intrusion, you can use package managers to manage your application within a network security group. And then 7 says the developer monitors and manage health, performance, and usage of the information. And then 8, that goes back to the Azure Boards. So Azure Boards is where you see and get an overview of what's going on about your builds. So this is the central point all projects start from here on Azure Boards. So these are all activities happening in Azure Boards and gives you a telemetry of what happened. And you can find that in Azure Boards. So the next slide's about the component of Azure Boards. So like I said, there are 5 toolkits in Azure Boards, Azure DevOps. It's not a must that you must use all of them to do your DevOps thing. You can choose what you need. I would go quickly, not to go so deep in it, because the lab might take up to 1 hour or something. So, but I will share this slide to use later. So within, for instance, within a boards, there are work items and a Kanban. So the Kanban is like, okay, say for instance, you have like a typical board where there's a marker, so it's like a duty, there's a task, there's a project, and this project is like already created, and you have to show a step where this project is, the milestone to be done, assigned to who, with processes and decision trees, for instance. I will show you what that looks like. So within the boards, we can look at on the boards. Look at these boards. So this is what Azure Boards look like. So here, you create this project moves. So you move from left to right. So these are stages, and it goes just doing done and doing done. So you move this project, and it has to be go on this side. So just like it's like a typical board where you show tasks with subject lines. For instance, it's like a tester has to fix a website, and then you provide related items. Could be a project or work item, and then you create it and then allocate it with people to execute it. You can also view it in form of your backlogs. So it means backlog particularly means tasks to be done, and you can monitor it here, and it's based on your role-based access control. What rights do you have within Azure DevOps? Back to the slides. So I would skip this. Let's go to some interesting parts. So let's go quickly to pipelines. So pipeline is where you do your building and then release your builds. Within Azure pipelines, you do your CD, CI, and also run and stage your builds. You can do your builds. You can run builds with YAML or other tools. And what do you need to do to use Azure pipeline? So first, you need to have a subscription, Azure DevOps subscription. Within Microsoft, if you have a team for more than 5 people, you can use Azure DevOps and pay nothing. You are being charged, for instance, if you say you're gonna use like Azure test plans, but then you must have an organization. If you don't have like Azure subscription, you can also freely use Azure DevOps tools. Also, you need a source code where you can store the version control system. If say you want to run, if you use for instance public projects, Azure pipeline is free. If you use, for instance, private project, you can run up to 1,800 minutes, 30 hours of pipeline jobs for free every month. I would show you how to, if you say, for instance, how you can configure Azure DevOps. If you go on, for instance, Google, or you can make this Azure DevOps login. I think will be logged in automatically because my DevOps is already logged in. So normally, if I log out, you will get something like this. And then it will ask you first to create an organization. I already have 2 organizations. So let's say we create a new organization. And this is an account I used how to open my Azure DevOps. So it said continue. And then you have to indicate the name of an organization, say Moonlight, Azure Moonlight. And then you have to give a location where you want it, where you would like to host your project. And that's based on the data centers of Microsoft. So let's keep it West Europe. That's where I am. So continue. So this will now provision a new organization within your Azure DevOps environment. So you can have more than one organization in same subscription or the same log accounts. And it asks me, create a project to get started. So I need to now create, so for this organization, Azure Moonlight organization, it's asking me to create a project name. So I say Azure Moonlight Project. And it asks you next, public or private. Let's keep it public. And then if you're using a public project, it's risky because you now have to manage, for instance, who does what, and give a roof. Say, for instance, GitHub, there are like, okay, somebody have some bunch of code there. He gives like a code of conduct or like instruction how you can use his repos. And for private project, this is for what you do in organizational level. And then you say create project. So this project has been configured and you can start working. So here, you can now go, for instance, to now create work items, birds, backlog sprints, and also you can have push a repo, for instance. If you have like a repo on GitHub, you can push it here and link it up here. So back to the slide. So why do you have to use Azure Pipeline? So you can use Azure Pipeline because it accepts any language and any platform. And you can quickly deploy things to the cloud. And it has like advanced workflows and features, as well as containers and Kubernetes you can do there. Next slide is further down on why you should use Azure pipelines. So for instance, like what I said, you can work on any language or platform. So I'll skip this. For Azure Test Plan, this is where you do your testing. So you can do, for instance, a manual testing or exploratory testing. And within Azure Test Plans, you need to do an Azure test plan, you need to create first a test case. And within a test case, you have like a test suits you have to create. Let's go to the Azure environments, Azure DevOps environments. So here you have like test plans. Let's click on that. I've already have a project running within an organization. So let's use the organization we just created now, Azure Monitor. We open this. So here we click on test plan. So test plan. So because you need this is to leverage test plans, you must have a subscription, and I need to allocate now a subscription for to use Azure Test Plan. So luckily, Microsoft gives you 30 days to use it. So I will go to now under project setting, click on project settings. And go under, we need to click on our organization. So let's go back. So for this, under this project, then you click on organization settings and go to billing. And here you click on start free trial. So test plan is not free to use. So you click on start free trial. It says start free trial. It gives you start 30-day plan. After that 30 days, you'll be charged to continue use Azure test plans. And this is configured. So it gives you, with this account, you leverage for Actifire 2 GB and also leverage free 1,800 minutes. But then if you want to use test plans, you have to pay. So for now, we have 30 days to use it. And so let's back to the slides. So testing is very important before release because there you will monitor what happens. Before, say in the case of, say, in a software delivery, user acceptance testing, say an organization, a company, you guys paid to develop a solution for you, will return this solution to software, and you accept using, for instance, user acceptance criteria, or to use, for instance, a different methodology. And often what you do, you can use Azure Test Plan to test if this solution, if this software does what it was meant to do based on the criteria already defined beforehand with this company. And within Azure Test Plan, you can do manual testing, or you can do automated testing using Selenium, for instance. We talked a bit about repos. You can use Azure repos, or you can use Git repos. You can also clone or push external repos into Azure repos. I will skip this. So this is like why we should have to use Azure repos, because you can leverage command line, leverage Visual Studios or Visual Studio Code, as well as other IDEs. For your Azure Artifact, is for your package management. So within Azure Artifact, you create, for instance, and share your Maven on MP or NuGet packages from public and private sources. And so, for instance, how do you set up and monitor Azure DevOps? So like I said before, in Azure DevOps, everything goes to an organization. There must be an organization created, and they need to connect to your organization. Then you have to add and manage users and grant access to your organization. And often you can do the slim push, pull back at what we have. So you can use, say you have like an Azure Active Directory for your company. You can push users here under Azure AD, or you can also use, for instance, pass-through authentication, and then you can do your configuration, MFA and stuff, or you can use single sign-on, or you can also create a new Azure Active Directly on Azure DevOps, Azure Portal, and from there you now have to now allocate, for instance, role-based access control, all those kind of things, which is cool. And then further add users through group rules, and then add users implementation nodes, and then set up billing, for instance. There's a small demo as well. So how to set up demos. So within our organization, let's go back from the beginning on organization. So these are all organizations. So at the moment, I'm on Azure Moonlight organization. So for any organization, you have a separate organizational setting. So you click on organization settings, go to billing, set up billing. If you click on this, a billing will be set up. And that's how it works. So here is where you bring in users to add users. At the moment, I'm the only person using this. And here as well, that's where you do your auditing, all these kind of things, what happened, activities and stuff like that. So back to the slide. Next slide is on, if you can also use Azure DevOps servers to do Azure DevOps on-prem. And these are the steps to follow to do that. So I'm not gonna talk on that. You can try that later. So I'm trying to not to use a lot of our time. Creating an organization in Azure DevOps. So for instance, there's a structure of how to use your Azure DevOps. So the structure depends on organization, project, and teams. So an organization is a mechanism for organizing and connecting groups of related projects. And like I said before, each project must have belong to an organization. So to use Azure DevOps, you must have at least one organization. And within Azure DevOps, we do continuous monitoring, and this we do using Azure Monitor. And so from the planning, development, the build, and the deployment and the operation, and then the monitoring. So Azure Monitor monitors, for instance, gives you telemetry in different ways about on the application level, on the operating system level, and the resource level, as well as the order, say, for instance, resources in terms of, okay, what kind of resources they are. And this monitoring comes in, you get data in form of metrics and logs. So for instance, say you would like to know, you want to get a metrics on who did what within your Azure DevOps project. You cannot use, for instance, use logs to gather that and you get this in terms of data, and you can plot this to Power BI to visualize who did what or what. So you can use other things for response. Say you want to respond or within Azure DevOps, that's configured using alerts or autoscale. And as it, so to monitor the application, you can monitor the containers, how the visual machine is performing, and also how the application is performing in general. So this is a guide on how to configure billing and pricing. So we have already showed that. So the first page you get in is on Azure DevOps. So this is the first page you see, and asks you start free with GitHub or sign into your Azure DevOps if you already have an account, or you click on start free, and then you create you don't need a credit card or what, you just create an account, and then you create an organization, and then you create a project, and then set up billing. So I've already showed this, how to set up billing. So under organization, you click on to open a UC billing, and then you click on set up billing, and then it's saved. If you have a subscription, I should pay as you go, so you can also tie it up here. So come down to now, so I was really fast. So it's come down to now to the lab. So in this lab, we will look at how to enable continuous integration using Azure DevOps, so within Azure pipelines. Firstly, what is continuous integration? So a lot of us know what that means. So it's basically a practice that encourages developers to integrate their code into a main branch of a shared repository early and often. So in a typical organization, there are a lot of people, developers, working on Java or Python. So to have an updated repo, a code, you do that with a continuous integration. So this is my last slide. So going forward, I will be talking in the next days on part of this Azure Moonlight. My next agenda is how to design an Azure DevOps strategy. And I'll be covering, for instance, Agile work management. There'll be a lab on working with Azure boards, choosing a process, how you're gonna do your testing and work management tools using Azure test plans. And there'll be a lab on reporting in Azure DevOps, which is very key. How do you report? I will also look at licensing. How do you leverage licensing? What do you gain, the benefit, and all those kind of things? And there will be also a project on adding users to your projects. And package working with package active or package managers. So I will also look at security for your CI/CD pipelines and also tools for DevOps in general. And yeah, so this I will discuss in the next day. So let's go to do this lab. So this lab, Microsoft have a website called Azure DevOps Labs. In this lab, we would look at here. We will look at continuous integration, enabling continuous integration, To do this lab, we need first to configure the repos and to tie them with our a development environment. So in this case, Visual Studios. First, you must have an Azure DevOps account, and then you must have like your Visual Studio environment already installed on your laptop, and then we now sync it together. So the next step is, so this is the repo we have will be fetched from Azure DevOps demo generator. So this is a website created by Microsoft to get raw workloads to try out or build anything within Azure DevOps. So I will share a slide. I will share the exercise to you guys so you can try this out. So here you will sign in. I've already done this process before. So basically it shows, wait. So this is what you have to do. If you sign in, then you have to now create tie. When you already sign in on your Azure DevOps, it will pick it up, and then you have to create a project name, give a project name, select an organization. So this is like, okay, from this Azure demo generator, I'm signing with the same login I have with my Azure DevOps environment, and it's already picked up the organizations I have. So you have to now select an organization here. So let's say select Azure Moonlight. And then you click yes. I need to give a project name. So let's say Parts Unlimited. And it says we should pick the templates, Parts Unlimited templates, and then select templates. So choose templates, Parts Unlimited templates, select templates. So this template, this workload, a workload will be pushed here. So click on create projects. It will push this project here onto our local machine. And in the back end, in our local machine, there will be a file, a folder created for you with all the workloads of this project. So wait for it to load up. So when this is done, we would go on our Azure DevOps environment and then clone this repo to one of the IDEs we have in your laptop or device. So I'll be using Visual Studios to clone it. Well, to save our time, I've already done this. So, and it's under this organization, CFLI Training Day. This is the Parts Unlimited. So it's generated by Azure DevOps Demo Generator. I would like to show you how you can push that. But I will share the slide that the lab PDF that you can see how to do that. So I would suspend this. I've already done it. So let's open this. I'll show you how to clone. Say after this thing loads, the next thing you'll get now is this Parts Unlimited will be pushed to your Azure DevOps environment. So we need to clone it. So say click on repos. So this is what was downloaded from this Azure DevOps generator, and this is the files. So if you want to clone, say clone. You can clone with HTTPS or SSH, and then click on drop down. You can see all the IDEs you can clone to. So I say Visual Studios. So I've already done this. I think it will just refresh itself. And automatically Visual Studios will be identified, and it will now start up. Says I've already in my local parts. So the files were stored on my C drive and under a repo source code. So parts unlimited 2 will be created. Parts unlimited 1 have already been in my laptop. So and then you can click on clone. And then the visuals will be connecting to your Azure DevOps environment under this organization. This is the Parts Unlimited I downloaded in the past. So the next step is to we need to locate we need to go under Team Explorer and fetch the file solutions, Parts Unlimited solutions. So this is the Parts Unlimited solutions we need, and then double click on it. So it must be left open. So you have to ignore this. Okay. And you gotta report the migration report, what was done. And we will keep it on open, and then we go back to Azure DevOps to start the lab. So the task 1 from here, from the slide, go back to the slide. Task 1 is create a basic build pipeline from a template. And then after that, we do track and review our builds, and then invoke a continuous integration builds. So first, we need to now go to our repo, and then click on pipelines and create a new pipeline. Sorry, pipeline. We need to go to pipelines, and then click on pipeline, new pipeline. And by default, Microsoft the build is done on YAML, but we will use the classic editor to build a pipeline. So click use the classic editor. Click on that. And then you have to choose your source. So for this lab, we'll use Azure repo diff. And the repository is the Parts Unlimited repository. And then we'll now click on continue. So the next step is to, we will choose a template to use. So for the lab, we use ASP.NET. Click apply. So the process for this build pipeline is quite easy. So after we get the source, and Azure DevOps will use a NuGet package to restore any dependent packages. Then the project will be built and then tested. So we would go to click on variables to look at what we just built, and you see the information about the builds and the variables and everything. So the next is to select the triggers tab. The triggers enable you to automatically invoke builds on a schedule when another build completes or when changes are made to the source. Triggers. And then we have to click on enable continuous integration. And then we click on the options. So the options, it includes like a wide variety of options related to the build workflow. So this is enabled by default. If you have the description, you can put a description for these build properties. We will leave this as it is. And then it will click on a retention. And then we click on, this is like if you want to return it on for how long you want to return it. So let's click on go to project settings and configuration. So the pipeline retention has been streamlined. If you want to know more, you can go on project settings to configure it. So let's click on this. So let's see what this, yeah. So this is like a retention. For instance, say you want to return, this is going to be retained for 30 days. And it's going to run for 30 days. And your pull request runs will give about 10 days. And let's go back and click on history. Let's go back. We click on history. And then we have to now save, and under save and queue, we click on save and queue. So we need to accept the options by clicking save and run. So we look at this. You can click to enable system diagnostics. So for now, it's not important. We will leave it, and then we click save and run. And this build will be run. So it run quickly. See the information about the builds and the information that it gives us. The agent job 1 has been created. And then let's, for task 2, we're going to track and review the builds. So depending on the load, the build might need to wait in the queue for a moment. So now it's already running, so it moved from queue and running. So once the build begins, you will be able to track the console output at the task. So let's click on agent job 1. Let's see. You can see the what happened. And at the moment, NuGet restore is being deployed, and it took all these steps, and we get all the check marks to see if the build went well or not. If you want to review an earlier task, you can scroll to the right pane to review its logs. So the build solution is still be done, and you can see the timing it takes. So the build is quite going quickly, so let's wait for it to finish. So when the build is finished, we will get a summary about overview details about the build, which includes the details about commits, the tests, and artifacts. If you want to see the raw log, if you click on view raw log, you can get all telemetries with time, with dates. So this is today's date, this time now, all the actions. And this you can also run on, you can pull to Excel or pull to store it and pull to Power BI to run it. Let's go to summary. Okay, still building up. Let's let it to finish up. Let's go back. You can see now that the agent is status is success. So let's open. I will let you. We can when this finishes, these two parts finish, we will get a telemetry on what was detailed, what was passed, and what wasn't able to be passed. So let's go on this job, click on this. Well, if you open this, it brings us to another login. So let's go back to here. So you can see, okay, now it's 7.5% test was passed, 3 still in queue, and 1 artifact produced. Let's go back to the icon. Let's click on pipelines. We're still building this, taking a bit of a time. We're taking some time, so I don't know. I think, yeah. I think it's frozen. It's normally when I click back, it brings me to the summaries page. So, for instance, this is what you will see. The job runs. So when you click, for instance, when you click on this icon, it brings you to this. You already seen this from the logs. At 7.5% was parsed. And the next step is to click on test. So when you click back, when you click on the select test lab to review test performance for this build, and you get this chart dashboard about the 14 was parsed. There's no failure, none was failed. And you can see the pass here and the time it took. And the number of tests was 16. If you want to invoke a continuous integration build, so you just have to click on repos and click on files, and then you will see the file parts of the parts unlimited unlimited repo, and then you can edit. Click on edit. You can make some changes. For instance, you say, for instance, within the raw code, you can say, okay, add for the home page, and then you can put like 3 asterisks, and then click on commits, and then it updates and runs. And let's say the builds will be done, and then if you want to check it, you can click on select pipelines, another the pipelines, and then you can here you will now see the new change you made when you add, for instance, add home page with double asterisks, and this gives you the chart of all the builds in the pipeline activities being run. So the last part is just that this build will be succeeded just like the previous builds, and then you get this. So I will send this lab. So this is the tax tray already done. Let's see if this is working now. It's not yet. Let me see if I can go back to home. It's acting strange. Refresh. Okay. Pipelines. Let's go to runs. Let's click on runs. Agent job 1. So there's two items still to be run, and this yeah. But let's click. Let's go back to the pipeline for a moment. Pipeline. And there's some of a bit of a problem with this build, but I think the steps is straightforward. So from where we are now, here at this point, this is where you need to follow up from where we are. What I showed you, you will get a chart like this. So when that build is finished, done, you get a chart. This is what we saw, and then you get a chart like this about giving you the information about the builds. This same information is what we are seeing here. And after that, you will now see, you go back to the repos. So let's go to let's see if you can see if this went well. Repos. And go to files. Yeah, I think my system is hanging. Well, I mean, so I will send the slides, and then you can try it out. If there is anything you need more information, you can let me know. Here's my slide. So for the next class, we would proceed on how to designing an Azure DevOps strategy. I will go with use Azure Birds to create Agile work management environments. We'll choose a process to use, so use Scrum or Agile. And we'll try out testing as well. There will be a lab on reporting, which is key in Azure DevOps. And we'll look a bit about licensing, say in the production environment, how do you leverage Azure licensing from Microsoft, say from a developer point of from dev to prod. Most companies move from dev, and then they use prod license, different license and mix from Microsoft, based on if they already have like a subscription from Microsoft. And we'll look at how to add users to your projects, look at, say, package management, and then we'll look at on security, how to secure your CI/CD pipelines, and look at other tools within DevOps. Yeah. If there's any question, you can ask me, and I would, yeah, help you with any question you want. Thank you, guys. Any question?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Retiolua. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very on point and short. My question is going to be, what are the limitations in terms of the testing I can do? I can imagine running different applications, maybe from data science, machine learning, or whatever application it is. Or what are the limitations? What are the supports that's available for doing different kind of tests? I know there are different tests that can be done.
So basically, if you can do manual testing, you can do, for instance, coded UI testing, and then you can do it from a Visual Studio. You can also do automated testing using Selenium. To do that, you have the Azure DevOps environment supports that, and you can also use Azure Test Plans. But to use Azure Test Plans, you need to download a test runner. You can see from my desktop. And to do this test, test runner, let's open it. And this works with Azure Test Plans. So Microsoft supports Selenium for testing. You can also use coded UI testing to do manual testing. Or say in a case, you want to use user acceptance testing to accept a solution, a software built by a vendor for your company. Then you can create, if you go on Azure DevOps, you can create a test plan. Oh, this is hanging. If you create a test plan, if you click on test plan, you see a drop down, said you first create a test case and create a test suite. A test case could also be, for instance, there's a bug notice from a software you built, and then you create a test case, on how to solve this bug, and then you can allocate it to a tester who does that, who does the testing. I don't know if I answered your question. If you mean by support.
Yes, largely, but it will be appreciated better when I'm doing a practical demo myself. Oh, thank you very much. I think this is sufficient.
Okay, you're welcome.
This is not a question, just a suggestion. I could see you have some notes in the sticky notes, but why don't you consider using OneNote instead? I think you can place your notes better and you can access it on.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is my my work laptop. We're not allowed to we use sticky note, but my normal laptop I use OneNote. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I see. You're welcome.
So any other question? I will send the lab material. I said this lab is very intuitive. It's straightforward to understand.
Thank you. Are you sending to our email or is going to be in the Teams?
I'll send it to Paul. Then Paul will send it, or I'll forward it. I'll forward it to WhatsApp group chat. And okay. Yeah, so we're yet to have like a general. We should have a general repository, like a SharePoint, where we put all these tutorials. But I will share. I will push this now straight to WhatsApp.
And if I think we should be able to create it within the Teams, that would be easy for everybody to access because
exactly.
Thank you.
I don't know the kind of Paul. Yeah, you're right. So you're right. So this the subscription is from Paul. I don't know. Normally, if you have like enterprise license for Microsoft, you can do all those things. But maybe he has it. Yeah. So I will send it from my side. I will send it on WhatsApp group, and then you can access it immediately. I don't know if there's any other question. Next class from me is on Sunday, and then I will drill on designing an Azure DevOps strategy. And further down, we will do like other labs. For instance, I have a lot of labs material we can use. Wait, I will show you guys. So I have like show this to you guys. I have like a labs here we can use for all classes I planned going forward. So all labs. And these labs, if you do it, you can use it. It helps you to pass the Azure AZ 400. So Azure DevOps expert. And gradually we will cover this one by one.
Great. Please, in case you have any material, lab material for 104, I appreciate it. You can
104,
share that as well.
104. Okay, yeah. I think I'll look and I'll send it to you. If you can send me, I don't know if you have my email, then I can send it directly to you. And this one, each day we cover it, I'll send it across. So today we did this lab. We did labs 07, enabling continuous integration with Azure. That's what we did today. Next lab, we'll pick do one of the labs here and tie it to the PowerPoints and deliver. For instance, on testing, automated testing, there's a lab on Selenium test. For instance, from a project point of view, we also have agile planning and portfolio management using Azure Birds. And also we have like deployed a multi-container application to Azure Kubernetes services. So Software 360, this tutorial is coming from Software 360, which I'm a co-founder. So we're into managed service provisioning. And we are setting up office in Lagos. And by the end of this year, we'll have a physical office running. And the idea is to bring DevOps to organizations, help them to leverage DevOps, and also to help organizations from on the cloud in general. So for instance, managing their cloud solution and then looking from the kind of subscription they have and then help them with the practical part of say for instance, infrastructure as a service, but mostly on platform as a service provisioning. DevOps is my area of expertise. There will be other teams or expert guys who would pick up on, say, for instance, pure migration into the cloud, Azure cloud, or how do organization in Nigeria can leverage platform as a service provisioning. So are there another question? I would, from my side, that's it for today. I wish you guys a nice Easter.
Thank you.
It felt weird with Easter here. We're on lockdown. It feels completely weird.
It's a new experience.
Huh?
I said it's a new experience.
Exactly. It's crazy. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay. If there's any other question, Paul or Olumide, are you guys on the line? Let me see if Paul is here. Paul is on hold. Let's Olumide. Let me message Paul. Let me see if Paul is here. I will call him on. No, maybe I'll call him on WhatsApp. Let me call him. Yeah, Paul is the organizer, so maybe if he has something to say. So how was you guys Easter? Any church or what or?
Hello, good evening, Paul. CJ.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Nice training. I'm actually new to Azure, so I'm taking my time to digest everything that is being taught today.
Okay.
I've also sent you a message with my email address if I could get the 104 as well.
Yeah.
But then in the okay, quick one. Let me just throw this one at you. I'm currently, my team is working on a software, like a mobile application, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we need it deployed on a cloud server.
Mm-hmm.
They kept saying AWS. And because the company I'm working for right now is a Microsoft partner, that would be go to solve. And we have like basically deal with Microsoft products. And in the short period of time I spent with them, I realized that there's a lot of features that I think I'm falling in love with in Microsoft generally, their products generally. So my question is just simple. Would you advise to still go host that on AWS, or if I use Azure, what are the benefits, or what do I stand to like benefit more if I tell them, oh, you know what, I think it's better we host this app on Azure server as opposed to AWS or maybe Google that you're planning to use?
Hello, CJ.
I said, do you guys already have like a subscription from Microsoft in the past from your organization? Say, for instance, how organizations use Azure Cloud, say, get benefit is first. Say, for instance, if you already have an already existing subscription with Microsoft, then Microsoft will give you a 40% cutting to use Azure Cloud.
Okay.
If you don't have it, then it comes down to say, if you're gonna, what solution do you want to use in the cloud? So in general, Microsoft and Azure are the front line with advanced solution and advanced security with the public cloud.
Okay.
But to me, Microsoft has the second largest private network, which runs the whole world. Even there's a data center in the North Sea under the water. The first organization that has the largest network is the U.S. military. So looking at Microsoft, where they have been in terms of security, securing their infrastructure and stuff like that, Microsoft is well chosen, well liked by enterprises, organization, because they have a more advanced security compliance policies more than any other cloud vendor. But in terms of pricing, if anybody that tells you this is cheaper than Microsoft is cheaper or AWS is cheaper, that is lie, because how these cloud vendors make money, they make money on workloads.
Okay.
And also workload is based on how do you want to run your work. Say, for instance, you want to migrate, you want to do a migration to the cloud. Microsoft doesn't charge you for data coming in. Egress data is not charged. It's about what Microsoft charges is the data on your cloud leaving the Azure cloud out of any other environment.
Okay.
So if say you have like a workload already runs on a SQL server, say you have a Cognizant, have like a SQL server license, RO2, for instance, Microsoft will automatically give you 40% cutting to use the Azure cloud. I will quickly show you, for instance, Azure Calculator, how your organization can leverage that.
Okay.
So you have, say, let's go to Azure Calculator. So mostly organizations use Azure Calculator to check the costs of what you want to, if you want to migrate to the cloud, what it will cost you and what the cost will look like. Say, for instance, you want to say you want to do compute, so platform as a service. And say, for instance, let's say compute, say Visual Machine. And then we click on view. Note also that different organizations, different data sets have different costs for the same, say, if you say you want to do a Visual Machine with a 2-core or something like that, the price costs are different. So here, you see here, save up to 40% with Windows Server license you already own. That's what Microsoft gives you. If you already have a Microsoft license from Windows Server license, Microsoft have a lot of all these benefits, a lot of benefit and vouchers. Also, you can leverage costs, say 1 year instance. If you have a 1 year reserved instance, 1 year reserved instance is like, okay, the money the agreement you make with Microsoft, and you pay every month an amount, and you have a persistent environment. with the cloud. You can also do the 3-year too. You can also do 3-year. AWS and AWS also does do the same. But this one is for if you already have a Microsoft license, then Microsoft give you a 40% cut in on a visual machine. And when you do that, this cost will go down.
Okay.
Yeah. So hi, Paul. How you doing? And also the license.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, CJ, for that interesting section. I want to believe everyone really learned from this lecture. I don't know if anyone has any question. If yes, we can still continue this on our WhatsApp group. So you can post your questions on the WhatsApp group. And CJ will be